we think it's really important that, again, that we stand, one, in solidarity with the Ukrainian people. We're seeing day to day on our TV screens, on the news and the radio, the impact, a senseless impact of people on civilians. And we're seeing the mass migration that is happening and the devastation to the Ukrainian people's territory. The U.S. Government, we know the use of power and bullying that it historically has done. In fact, I was thinking back, as it's been 31 years since 1991, since the first Iraqi massacre, and so much of what happened there was, again, a senseless war, and where Iraq was devastated. But what we saw was a huge level of profit, particularly by U.S. Transnational corporations, and like what we're seeing now. And so because of the U.S. interest in geopolitics and wanting to impose itself as a superpower in this sort of global fight around imperialist sort of nation building projects, is like we want to be clear that we say no to the militarization of the budgets and to aid that then happens, and then at the cost of like what it is that people are suffering. I mean, we know the devastating impact that happened in Afghanistan and how that process has happened, and we got to hold our government accountable to what is happening to the people there, women, to children, to people from the left and the progressive left in Afghanistan, and what a terrible role that the U.S. played there in the last 20 years, but then what was left in terms of what's happening in Yemen and Syria and Palestine and Somalia. And I think it's important for us to be making those connections and being able to talk about what is solidarity with those impacted people because of war and militarization and occupation, and the role of U.S. particular transnational corporations. So for us, we've been working as Grassroots Global Justice around promoting a regenerative, anti-racist, feminist economy. And part of that is a long-term view, right? It's a long-term view. And after living under patriarchal, misogynist, racist, homophobe, under the Trump regime, we need to articulate our alternative to that, right? We need to articulate what is actually going to be the counterpoint to that model, right? And I think that it's very clear that model of leadership and that politic and that ideology is really about profit. It really centers death, and in fact it centers killing.